Let's begin with what is SA Chamber UK? What are you about?
The African Chamber of Commerce is a regulated chamber that exists in the United Kingdom. We are a not-for-profit organisation run by individuals as their second day job, so it's done pro bono by everybody. We have a very, very strong advisory board and exco that run the chamber. And what we're here for is our ultimate purpose is to uplift the lives of South Africans. So if you step one up from that, how do we do that? So can we do things that involve the communities of South Africa? If you step one up from that, how do we get involved in the SMMEs in South Africa? Step back another layer up and you're looking at the corporate South Africa. And then ultimately, which is where we spend our time focusing on to now deliver those steps lower down, is doing the trade and investment between the two countries. Who wants to invest into South Africa and trade with South Africa and vice versa? Who wants to export? Who wishes to import?
And so today you had a launch of the chapter in KwaZulu-Natal. This is the first chapter in South Africa. How does that work, having a chapter here when it's, I suppose, a UK-based chamber?
Thank you. A very, very valid question, and probably wasn't on our mandate a little while ago. So what we realized is that to reach some of the communities, the SMMEs, we're too far away. We can't get that message to them. They can't see us, they can't touch us, they can't feel us. So this started off with discussing it with the Isle of Man, that then expanded to Ireland, and then we're looking at the Channel Islands as well. They're looking at creating their chapters, and we've got the women's chapter, for example. So we've got these focus groups that can actually be meaningful to their sub-member groups. So that then created our Ireland chapter, which was our first out-of-country, totally out-of UK jurisdiction chapter. And we've taken that model and we've brought this now to South Africa. So the idea is that within the KwaZulu-Natal community, we can create a reach and a solution drive between all the public entities, private partnership entities, business, but we're sitting here. So we're on the other side where we can actually pick up the person on their way over. So generate the introductions, generate solutions for them, give them the opportunity to see that it can actually be done. But also, you're looking for a piece of tech. Let's see if we can find it. You're looking for a customer. Let's see if we can find it. So it's working with you to achieve that. And then through our membership network, we deliver the solutions. So we actually hold the hand of the SMME, or even we've even got one organisation in KwaZulu-Natal who paints beautiful tablecloths and things like that. And yet we've got other companies which are some of the larger corporations within the KwaZulu-Natal region. So it's a complete range of services that we will offer.
Does this mean there'll be chapters perhaps in Gauteng, Johannesburg and Western Cape in the future?
Western Cape is already in its evolution, and the foundations are being born at the moment. We have a leader for that chapter, and that one will be coming to fruition probably in November that we'll go live. I don't think it'll be October, but you never know, but it'll be fourth quarter this year. Johannesburg is in talking points. We haven't got it to foundation level yet, strangely enough, but that is the next one that we're going to be looking at. And then what we've got to do is have a look at some of the other regions of South Africa, like the Free State or Mpumalanga, the two that come to mind. Because what we'll do is we won't do the Western Cape chapter, we'll probably do the Cape chapter and start it that way. Then potentially if it grows big enough to break it down to Eastern and Western Cape, for example. So we'll see how we start that one. And interesting enough, the other chapter we're doing is the youth chapter. So we're crossing all the divide with the youth one as well.
Let's talk a little bit about nuts and bolts issues, I guess. What opportunities are there for South African businesses? I sometimes get a sense that maybe we don't know what we don't know, and that there are great opportunities for some of the products that we produce here, and we're probably missing out on that.
Mm-hmm. I think you're probably right. And it's not only, for example, the crafts and the tourism and the craft industry. It's not just that, because we always think of that one as being something people would do in an SMME environment. But it's not. It's doing something more than that. One, it's services. And as we know, South Africa as a service industry country is probably one of the best in the world, and business process and outsourcing is proving that at the moment. The can-do culture, the ability to speak English in the way we do speak English, we are understandable in comparison to other English-speaking countries. And there's a big opportunity to build tech, services, even things like legal services. There's a lot of things you can do in South Africa for a foreign community. That needs to be done. So that is without even having to start getting a hammer and a piece of technology together, or a manufacturing machine, or planting crops and things like that. And all those areas, manufacturing, minerals, agriculture, are all things that the world needs. They need some of these base products as well. And not only do they need them here in the UK, but through the UK, we can facilitate you finding markets in Africa. And that is also quite important, because you are the springboard, but you don't necessarily have the degree of connections into Africa that potentially we can create for you. So there's a lot that you can do very easily, particularly in this new world of remote working. You can, I mean, we had one of our keynote speakers today was sitting in the Kruger Park. Didn't look like it, but he was sitting in the Kruger Park able to deliver his message. You can do it from South Africa. The connections are good. However much we complain now and then about the connectivity, they are reasonably good. And you can deliver that message very, very successfully. And the delivery of the service and what have you.
So we have competitive goods and services that we can provide. Mm-hmm. Typically, what sort of challenges do South African businesses face? I know that solutions are company specific, but what are the questions and challenges that come up time and time again that you often warn South African businesses about and guide them through?
The regulatory environment in the UK is somewhat simpler. It's faster, it's quicker, it's online. You can do a lot of things yourself. So coming here is not actually technically very difficult. It's actually quite easy. So to start up a business is not a complex process. You can technically do it in 15 minutes and you've got a company finished. So it is a very easy country to come into. What you do have is the natural aversion to anything new that is so part of our inbred English culture. So it's trying to get past that it is something from Africa, but it is of quality. I think the other question a lot of people sourcing supply from South Africa will ask about continuity, sustainability, quality, and what happens if you don't have power? Will you be able to deliver what I need? So those will always be the kind of questions they will ask. They will not ask about work ethic, about deliverables around the person's can-do mentality, because we're known globally to be a can-do race of people. So that is not going to be the issue. Will something like power prevent you delivering, and therefore would I go to another country that's not going to raise that risk to me?
That was actually going to be my next question. I think you've answered it in part, actually, that, what do the UK businesses worry about? We have a bad rep over issues like crime and so on and so forth, but are they still willing to think about trading with us despite some of the publicity that we get?
I think there we're going the other way around to the way I was discussing a few moments ago. If we're looking at companies coming into South Africa, what are the things that they will see as barriers and challenges? One, obviously, is the red tape system, not making it easy, the whole the regulatory space, from whether it's HR or whether it is getting approved licenses or getting money in or getting money back out again, the whole SARB system as well. They are more challenging. The SARS are a different animal to HMRC to deal with. So it is different, and it is, I think that is seen as an emotional barrier quite easily. But once again, within our network, we have the solutions. We've got the people who can make it easier, can deal with your Black Empowerment certification or solutions that you need, or your HR payroll kinds of things that are needed. So we can bring you the solutions to come into South Africa easily. The question will always be, is it a sunk cost because of the rand? And therefore, by the time I get it out, it's not worth a penny. So that's always a big question. Not as valid a question today as it might have been 10 years ago. The other question they'll talk about is, if I come there personally, am I safe as a human being in my house and in my office? and what is the risk that crime is going to actually hurt me as an individual. And the other aspect is, who are my partners? Do I trust them? What is the work ethic of who I need to work with? And can I be in a partnership, working relationship, whether it be business to business or human to human, that you're getting engaged with? Because you're going to need somebody here on the ground, or in South Africa on the ground anyway. So it's those kind of things. So it's working, finding the ethical solution. Power obviously is going to be one of their questions, and the kinds of people that are going to work for you. None of them insurmountable.
How has Brexit changed the game? I mean, at one stage, it was, it might be trading with the UK, but in real terms, it was trading with Europe. Yeah. That's changed a little bit. And how has that changed for South African businesses?
Those that were trading with Europe, nothing's changed. They continue to trade with Europe, and the quotas are exactly the same as they were. What they did is they took that agreement and they replicated it, and they said, put the word UK on the top. So effectively, the quotas have doubled in terms of the same marketplace that they had before. What you have to do now is you now have to have a new set of regimes, bodies, customs that you need to deal with, as you would have had to do if you wanted to go to Australia or if you wanted to go to somewhere in Africa. It's just a new country that you need to trade with. But because it would be so similar and very much a mirror image of what used to happen in the European documentation, you're going to have to do the UK documentation as well. It is not a barrier, really. That is not. It's just logistically, it's another country you have to add to your export regime. And for the UK, it's putting South Africa on the UK Manufacturing Limited. I want to generically talk about Middle England, where all the manufacturing it is. And we're working a plan with Make UK, which is an association of those bodies, who don't even have South Africa on their radar as a possible market for their products. So we're going to be working with them, getting the things out. Now, they're used to working with Europe. So now working with another country for them is perceived to be way too complex to deal with. So once again, we're helping them to say, well, yes, it's not Europe. It is an export. Now, whether you're going US or whether you're going India, it's still the same, or China. But then they're going to say, oh, what about South Africa's next layer of complexity, which is where we will double kick in to make it feasible.
All right, and perhaps finally, how can people get involved? I guess now with the KZN chapter, that could be the first place of contact. And can neighboring states, Lesotho, Eswatini, maybe even Zimbabwe and Mozambique in the south, Botswana, come through the KZN Chamber for assistance?
That's a nice set of questions. Thank you very much. You've just given me a whole bunch of ideas. I think I'll employ you in the marketing department. Thank you very much for that, Peter. Very much appreciated. Just going back to it, the best point of contact to get hold of us is to go to the southafricanchamber.co.uk. Nice and easy to remember our website. You can contact us directly from the website. And the KZN chapter, we will be putting up the contact details for the local chamber, which will be telephone numbers and email addresses for our local individuals. And that will be up within the next day, hours. It'll be up there very shortly in response to today's event. So you will be able, but your best port of contact at the moment is, rather than trying to make it complex right now, is southafricanchamber.co.uk. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much indeed for joining us, Sharon Constant-Con, Chairman of the SA Chamber UK. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. I really appreciated the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to working with some of our southern nations as well. Thank you for that.